It's almost 2026, which means the World Baseball Classic will be taking place this spring. So if you're a sports lover who doesn't understand baseball, there's no better time to learn how America's pastime is played. Like most team sports, the goal is to score more points, which is called runs in baseball, than the other team. To score a run, a batter must hit the ball and advance from home plate to first, second, third, and then make it back home safely. More on that later. Teams take turns batting and pitching. The batting team tries to score runs while the pitching team tries to prevent them. These turns are called innings, and a baseball game has 9 of them, each with a top and bottom. The home team always pitches first. Each team has 10 starting players: a pitcher, a catcher, a first baseman, a second baseman, a shortstop who is between second and third, a third baseman, a left fielder in the outfield, as well as a center fielder and a right fielder. And there's also a DH who only bats and never fields. Starting pitchers rarely complete games nowadays and are usually replaced by pitchers in their bullpen. Closing pitchers are also relievers, but they are usually the best pitchers who will end the game and earn the save stat, which is a stat that basically means you ended the game and the game was close. Here's your save. On the other hand, batters are replaced less often since all replacements are permanent. But when they are replaced, it's known as a pinch hitter. You can also replace a runner to gain speed, a pinch runner. And of course, you can replace a fielder when your team is pitching. All batters bat in a 9-person lineup. Everyone bats besides the pitcher, and the order has to be strictly followed, meaning the same player can't bat twice in a row, and the first batter can't bat again until the 9th batter has. So yeah, you cannot ball hog in baseball. Each inning ends once the batting team records 3 outs. The pitcher can get outs by striking out a batter or getting them out before they reach first base. A strikeout happens when a batter receives 3 strikes. A strike is either a swing and a miss, a pitch that lands in the strike zone, or a foul ball, a ball hit outside the foul lines, aka left of third base, right of first base. You cannot strike out on a foul ball, but it can count as a first or second strike. Sometimes there are check swings where it's unclear whether the batter swung, and then therefore the first or third base umpire makes the call whether or not they swung. Batters can be fooled or swing and miss at pitches because they can be fooled from the different pitch types that pitchers have in baseball that change the pitch's speed. A fastball can be 100 miles an hour, while a changeup is usually around 80 miles an hour. Just look at the difference between these pitches. It's nasty. Anyways, if a pitch is outside the strike zone and the batter doesn't swing, it's called a ball. After 4 balls, the batter walks to first base. The umpire makes the final calls on these pitches. Therefore, they determine if it was in the rules zone or not. But they make mistakes, which is why MLB is experimenting with an automated strike zone, being able to challenge the umpire's calls. But this won't be in the WBC. However, this WBC might have a pitch clock that is an MLB, which just means you have to pitch every 30 seconds. The exact time depends on the situation, and if the pitch is not thrown in time, a penalty, strike, or ball is given based on whether or not the batter or pitcher was ready. When the ball is hit, the fielding team can get the batter out by catching the ball in the air, including foul balls, or throwing them out at first. Runners can be thrown out via force outs, which is when a runner is required to advance because another runner is behind them and you can't have multiple people on the same base, or tag outs where the runner must be tagged with the ball because they chose to advance, therefore meaning they could always just go back to the previous base. These situations sometimes lead to pickles, otherwise known as rundowns, where runners are trapped between bases. Runners can also steal bases between pitches, which also requires a tag out. If a runner runs on a ball hit into the air that is caught, then they can be thrown out at the previous base. No tag required because they weren't allowed to go to the next base. The defense can record multiple outs on one play, known as a double play or the very rare triple play. Batters and runners may advance as many bases as possible. A home run, one of the most electric moments in baseball, occurs when a fair ball is hit over the outfield wall, automatically scoring the batter and all runners on base. Hits can also be singles, getting to first, doubles, 2 bases, triples, 3 bases, or ground rule doubles, which is when the ball bounces into the stands, meaning it's impossible to get, and they just award it as a double. Other important terms include the sacrifice fly, which is a caught ball that allows a runner to tag up from third and score. Yeah, you just have to make sure that you're holding on to the previous base before you start running, because you can tag from any base. A strike 'em out, throw 'em out, which is a double play on a strikeout and a caught stealer, and a walk-off, which is when the home team scores the winning run in the bottom of the ninth or later, ending the game instantly since they have more runs. If the home team leads going into the bottom of the ninth, the game ends without them batting again, since the opponent has no chance to score further. If a game is tied after 9 innings, it goes into extras, where nowadays a runner is now placed on second, so scoring is way easier. But this won't happen in the postseason in MLB or later rounds in the Classic, since it's a bit gimmicky. And that's pretty much it. Some of their fun terms are a perfect game, which is when a pitcher pitches an entire game without giving up any hits, walks, or error, although errors are not the pitcher's fault usually. And then there's a no-hitter, which is a perfect game minus walks or errors. And then there's an immaculate inning, which is very rare, but is when a pitcher strikes out every batter on the minimum 9 pitches in an inning. And finally, there's a cycle, which is when one batter hits a single, double, triple, and home run in one game. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know if you guys want me to dive deeper into this. But yeah, that's pretty much it.